Hi, my name is Amy and I'm here with Cara and we're part of the Youth Media team. We're at the Lurgus Forum 2019 interviewing Councillor Hazel Chu from the Dublin City Council.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and what brings you to the Lurgus Forum today?
Hi Amy, hi Cara. So, pleasure to be talking with yourselves. So I'm here to give a keynote speech on inclusion and diversity from the Lurgus Forum today. And I myself happens to have migrants as parents that came from Hong Kong. I was born and raised in Dublin, then grew up in Kildare, and I became the first in my family to go to school, first in my family to go to college. I then qualified as a barrister, and I became the first Irish councillor candidate to be elected that comes from a migrant background as well. So I currently also hold the highest percentage vote for any candidate in a local election. So I received over 4,069 votes in May's local election. So I work on the Dublin City Council. I'm also working for the Greens. I'm their Green Party chairperson. I'm their spokesperson for enterprise. And I founded a group called Maná Glossa, which unites women within the party and talks about issues and looks at inclusion and diversity there as well. So that's me.
The theme for today's event is an inclusive Europe, stronger together. Can you share your thoughts on today's theme?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you will see that in all over the world, not just Europe, that with various political factions, things are not as stable as we like it to be. So you look at the US, you look at the UK, you look at how uncertainty of Brexit has pushed people to be less inclusive. You look at the momentum gaining in the US at the moment, coming up with elections again, and there's very clear divide. So this is why inclusivity and diversity for Europe as a team is really important, because it shows people how important social inclusion from an early age would be, from anything from primary school to secondary school, and it's to college. And it's important that people understand where people come from, and people are willing to accept people for where they come from, for their culture, and be very inclusive of it, no matter what their colour, their creed, their background is.
Why are events like today important?
Well, it's important because it provides I guess, put it simply, it allows for a forum for people to discuss these things, because too often a lot of us are behind screens and we tend to have conversations behind screens and we tend to not engage face to face, whereas forums like these unite people and actually provide them with an open discussion space, provide people from every background, and also provide people who are educators in the area, who are facilitators in the area, and they will be the ones leading the way and leading by example. So it's really important to have these discussions and have these forums. Otherwise, I think you'll be siloed and you won't be able to share these ideas or thoughts as much as we could. So.
You mentioned that you're the first person in your family to go to school and college. Why is education important?
Well, that will be down to my mother. She always thinks it's important, but I think it's funny because I have a young child now. I have a 2-year-old, and it didn't really strike me as that important until I had my own child. Like, even growing up, I guess I was quite privileged. I had my parents who insisted that I go to school, insisted I go to college, and then I had further education after that as well. And I always found that, yes, it was important because it opened doors for me, and it also allowed me to engage with different topics with different people. But it's only when, I guess, truly for me, only became really important when I had my own kid, because I think when I had my own kid, it was very much how do they build their future, and you start seeing it differently as well. So going through it myself, I found it really important because it opened my mind. But then now looking at it from a different perspective, looking at for how it's important for her. It's all about building a future, because whatever I learned, I'm hoping I can pass on to her, but that whatever other people learn as well, that they can pass on to her. So it's all, again, it's back to this whole discussion idea that we have forums like these today that share ideas, that we have programs from Lirgos that who funds programs like the Erasmus Plus programs, like the inclusion programs, that actually share ideas and make people more inclusive. So, and this is why education is so important, because at the end of the day, there are plenty of people who self-teach, there are plenty of people who can do without education, but education is really important to just simply learn more. So, and I think that's the basis of having a good education, being able to learn, being able to grow more within it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries.